Thanks kids, it's Cupcake Kamisama back here with another and last installment of the 10-day Lolita challenge, and this final prompt is 10 random Lolita facts about you. Like I've mentioned in a previous facts video, I always struggle to come up with something because I don't know what people find interesting, I don't know what people might know, I don't want people who know some things to feel like, oh, well, I've already heard that. So, it'll be what it'll be. I selected 10. Hopefully they're new to you, hopefully they're interesting, and they're all about Lolita one way or another. So, let's give this a go. Number 1. My first Lolita meet was in February 2016. It was actually meant to be in December 2015, however, the person organising that had to cancel last minute, and that was good 4.5 years after I bought my first dress. In my defence, until 2015 I completely didn't even realise that Lolita communities were a thing and that there was one right next to where I live. Number 2. Thanks to Lolita fashion, I have gotten into the habit of eating quite carefully, and 9 times out of 10 I will avoid dropping food on me. In big part is because I wear a lot of white and ivory, and I feel it's easier to avoid staining it rather than stain removing, and so far I've managed to avoid dropping messy food like pasta on myself whilst in Lolita. Number 3. I would love to do a photo shoot in Lolita with a pro photographer at some point. This is purely appealing to my vain side. However, not only I don't know how to go about that in practical terms, as in like, do you just contact someone? Do you pay the photographer to do it? How does that actually happen? I have no idea. But at this moment in time, I also don't have any particular vision to realise. Still, it'll be cool to do one day, and hopefully it will. Number 4. While I am dying to move out and have my own space and have a dedicated Lolita room in that space, I have zero idea of how I would decorate it, whether it would appeal more to my sweet side or the classic, or whether I would try to blend the two together. And I know this is really silly and best left for when I actually have a space to work with, so I know what I could do and what wouldn't be so good. At the same time, it feels a little unnatural to me because I'm a natural planner. I want to plan stuff as far in advance as possible, know as much as I can prepare, minimize the impact on my wallet or whatever it is. So it's just really odd to try and imagine myself having that space but not being able to imagine how that would look because I have no idea. Number 5. Lolita fashion, together with my first full-time job, helped me overcome a lot of my shyness. Naturally, I take a while to get comfortable around people, and even now, like in more professional settings where I feel slightly out of my depth sometimes, it can take a while before I push myself out to and build up the courage to talk to someone. But if it's like a casual sort of let's get to know people kind of setting, I have gotten a lot more relaxed, and especially if it's a meet, then instead of being that person who's like, oh, I hope someone talks to me, I am now a lot more comfortable with being that person who starts a conversation, because ultimately there's nothing to lose and not every conversation needs to be profound. It's just as good to say to someone, I really like your cord, as it is to start a discussion about feminism. Number 6. I wish that I had more confidence to apply to write for Kira online when they advertised that they were looking for writers internationally. At the same time, I absolutely love writing for Wonderworld the WWL. I really like writing for Wonderworld. I think it's amazing. They're very chill about how you go about that, as well as accumulating points that they pay you for every article with has woken up some hoarder dragon instincts, and I feel like I am saving gold coins to put towards only the most coveted brando. But yeah, I think what put me off was because Kera was an actual established magazine publication of so many years. It felt like what they might have been looking for was content that I would have loved to see in a magazine, rather than just, hey, we want to see what Lolitas internationally think, what they do, and you know, sort of very similar stuff to what I blog about. Number 7. I'd love to be a part of a Lolita skit or a funny video, something like this, something, you know, like Dear Stalker did in the past, or you know, like the shit Lolitas say that Lovely Law did. Problem is, I don't have any ideas. If I had, it probably already would have been out here. And secondly, I see a lot of people saying, oh, I'd love to see more Lolita skits and funny videos, but there's only so many areas to explore in terms of humour that would translate well onto a video, and unless you know someone who's already sort of shooting one. Yeah. Number 8. Personally, deep down inside his heart, I consider myself a brand whore, and if only I was able to, both financially and size-wise to an extent, I would buy pretty much everything from Japanese brands. Now, this is just my thing. I don't believe that this is something everyone should do. I don't judge people who choose to wear something else. I mean, for Christ's sakes, I'm wearing Chinese brand skirt at the moment and wrist cuffs. This is just my little obsession, and something that I am fighting with, and actually consciously telling myself not everything you own has to be Japanese brand. You can get great pieces from other places. I'm sure if we delved into the psychology of it, we'd discover all kinds of things I'm compensating for here, but I am aware of it. I don't necessarily use it as a badge of honour. It's just something I know I have. It's my tendencies to try and go, ooh, but this is branded. Number 9, going slightly deeper and potentially slightly triggering if body image and body size is something that might affect you. I'd suggest you skip to prompt number 10. However, despite logic and despite reason, Lolita fashion can sometimes affect my own body image negatively, even though generally it's something that brings me great joy. And again, on a conscious level, I know why some of the sizing is the way it is. There has been 1 or 2 episodes where the fashion has made me feel terrible about myself and made me feel like I needed to lose a lot of weight or drastically alter my shape and size. I have been lucky enough that these have been temporary and quite often stemming from other things that I'm working on, rather than the core and sole reason why I've been having negative body image. Recently I've been feeling much better about that. I've found a couple of things that work for me and I'm working through that, but still every now and then Lolita fashion can trigger some negative emotions in me to do with my body. It's something that I'm working on, it's something that I'm still finding strategies and coping mechanisms for. It's getting much better, but at the same time it's something I try and stay aware of that this is something that can happen, and avoid making any big decisions whilst I'm in that kind of mood. Last but certainly not least, fact number 10, and this is a more light-hearted one. Once, not long after graduating from university, when I was in between graduating and finding a job, I have worked out and calculated whether I would be able to sustain myself and live as a brand shop girl for Innocent World in Nagoya, purely because for a long time the Innocent World mailing list had a job ad at the bottom saying we need staff in Nagoya. It got very serious. I actually looked up the wage, I started calculating hours, I started looking at houses to rent, well, flats to rent in Nagoya, and it got like about this close to actually happening, even though there was not even a guarantee that I'd get the job, as well as it was all based off purely hypothetical calculations, because obviously brand shop staff tends to be employed part-time, and I was working along with, oh, these will be my full-time hours, as if. So yeah, it very nearly happened. I was saved mostly by my partner, whom I decided not to ditch, and he can't, well, he could change his job easily, but he doesn't want to, and the fact that I actually did get lucky and found a full-time job here. However, some part of me still thinks that it could have been quite a fun life in Nagoya, which I do quite like. People put it down a bit, including Japanese people, but I think it would have been a good place to live. And hey, I'd get to be a brand shop girl, provided they'd employ me. It's not likely to happen now though. And that's it. 10 very random facts about myself that relate to Lolita fashion in one way or another, which conclude the 10-day Lolita challenge. I must say, I am quite proud of myself for having managed all 10 in video form. Granted, as some of you may have noticed, some of these have been filmed quite a bit in advance and posted later. However, it meant that I was able to finish the challenge without stressing over it and being like, oh, but I said I was going to do one a week and I don't have time to film or whatever. It was really fun to do, not just because of the whole video adventure, but also it's just a fun challenge. So if any of you are still on the fence about it, thinking, should I do it, should I not? Do it. You'll find a whole playlist in a corner of all 10 prompts that I've done, and the description box down below has a link to the original blog post where you'll get all 10 prompts. So thank you so much for sticking through this entire series. I do hope you liked it, and I hope that you've enjoyed some of the random facts I've put out there. If there's anything you want to know, by all means do leave a comment with a question, and I encourage all of you to give this video a thumbs up, as well as subscribe to the channel. After this, I can't promise any regularity in terms of videos, but I can promise that I'm not forgetting this challenge, and every chance I can, I do put something up on here. If you want to encourage me to do that a bit more, then consider buying me a cup of coffee. The link to my Ko-fi page is also in the description box down below. And in the meantime, I encourage all of you to check out my blog, which is Cupcakes and Unicorns, where you'll find more Lolita content. Thank you so much, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care. Bye!